Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray. Thank you for watching. Today we're talking about Rick and Morty, Season 7, Episode 5. Halfway through the season, and we're done. We're done. The whole storyline is done after this episode. No need to watch it anymore. The main story is complete. Boom, done, good, gone. And that really, really surprised me. Because essentially, the biggest canon, I guess, actual storyline that wasn't like a sub thing. You know, it wasn't like a standard Rick and Morty random crazy adventure, uh, all summed up in one episode. This basically summed up the entirety of that long story arc in one episode. And I thought they would do that over the span of several more seasons, because to my knowledge, we're supposed to be getting 10 seasons. But based on this episode, they could end it after season 7, and then that can be all she wrote. I don't think they're actually ending it after season 7. To my knowledge, there's actually a contract that says they get 10 seasons. So as long as people keep watching, at that 10th season, it would not surprise me if it got renewed for more seasons. Wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. So here we think it's Rick C-137, but in actuality, this is Evil Morty. And this is kind of the origin story of Evil Morty. He gets Rick really drunk. Then he, uses this eye patch to implant his Rick and take over his mind. Then we go on to where they're hiding out. They're going to a bunch of different universes, kidnapping Mortys, killing a bunch of Ricks, and obviously using the scream of 1,000 Mortys to cloak themselves as well. Then we see him, gain power in the Citadel, become president, and he's kind of doing his own adventures, outside of the Infinity Curve. So he's just doing that. We get a little Jetsons reference, and they made like a modern 80s Jetsons too. We see monsters come after him, and he has essentially created what I would call kind of his own personal citadel. It's like a tropical paradise type deal. Nice. He's got a little robot butler. How are the horrors of the infinite today, sir? Creature breaks in, and he is annoyed because Rick, the main character, Rick C-137, is disrupting his citadel. So it's disrupting things. It's allowing space-time to fluctuate a little bit. So he is like, all right, I need to get this taken care of. So Rick and Morty are looking for Rick Prime here, and they are determining all of his clones, because since the Infinite Curve broke, it allows Rick to track down Rick Prime, and he is able to do so. They keep finding all of him. They get him in there. Or at least they think they get him in there. So, because this is annoying Evil Morty, or what we call Evil Morty, that's his actual name, he decides, all right, I'm sick of this. You're still interfering with the things I'm doing. I'm just going to help you out. We're going to find Rick Prime. We're going to get this over with and go from there. So he is actually being a large help. Evil Morty is actually, I would say, equally as smart as Rick, if not smarter. I don't know if he's actually smarter than Rick, because he can't be, at least he can't be smarter than Rick in his timeline, but that doesn't mean he can't be smarter than other Ricks. But he is definitely smart, definitely takes after his grandfather in that cause. We actually capture the real Rick Prime, and it turns into this black sludge, which we have actually seen this in the episode, I don't remember what season it was, but it was the Death Crystals episode, where Morty wanted to die with Jessica. That was the last time we saw that. So this has actually trapped several Ricks that were all going after Rick Prime, because he essentially killed Rick's wife in every single universe. He had the ability to kill Diane in every single conceivable universe. So no Rick anywhere, I guess, has a wife anymore at this point. So he kind of does a jigsaw type thing. I think this is a reference to Saw, where he's pitting them all against each other. It's basically, hey, the last Rick standing will win, you'll be good to go. So the Ricks start killing each other, as they have done in the past. And of course, C-137 is fine. His Morty's fine. Morty Prime, I guess technically you'd call him. And then we got Evil Morty as well. So they're trying to figure everything out. You know, they're getting shot at, all these crazy traps. The last trap being a giant wife thing is attached. And this is kind of funny. He was like, she's like, you sucked at eating the box. I got a good laugh out of that too. He was like, well, yeah, I was young, you know. I always thought your D smelled weird. I don't know if any of this is true, or this is just meant to aggravate Rick. That's my guess. But come on, baby, give me ghost kisses. He then traps her, kills her. You know, that I don't think it was actually a gift. It was basically just kind of like an AI of her. Whole place is turning on fire. He's trying to figure out what's going on. He then uses the black goo to merge it with Evil Morty's portal gun and his portal gun, at which point they are able to get out. So, yeah, good to go. Then they are able to use the goo to track down Rick Prime, and he's like, both of you Mortys can't come. This is something I have to do. Goodbye. And then Evil Morty's like, you can come if you want to, again, to Morty. Morty is about to come, and then he was like, yeah, closed. He was like, okay, come on. So here it is. Here is the actual crazy layer of Rick Prime going on here. Then, of course, Evil Morty shows up to where he is, because he knows where they are, too. So, yeah, he was like, yep, I'm going to help you. He's like, oh, you brought 2 Mortys? Is that your cheering section? He's like, oh, why does your car sound like your wife? That's so messed up. And, you know, Rick Prime, he looks younger than Rick. I don't know if that's actually true, but he has all these decoys, all these clones. And he was like, I want to hurt you in every conceivable way. So he ends up killing Slow Mobius in every single universe. Apparently, he has this giant, crazy contraption, Rick's version of the Death Star, we'll call it that, and it's able to delete people everywhere. So that's what he's going to do. He plans on putting all of Rick's family in there as well to teach him a lesson. So he doesn't actually want to kill him for whatever reason. I think it's kind of like a Batman Joker type situation where it's like, oh, well, I have way too much fun with you, so I'm never going to kill you type deal. Rick is just can never get close enough to Rick Prime to actually do anything. So we have, I don't know if this is a reference to something or not. You know, it looks like kind of some sort of crazy hillbilly thing. But they're all fighting, you know, epic, crazy fight. We have a giant Diane robot. So I feel like Rick Prime misses her too. Like, I mean, we don't ever actually get that. But it looks like Rick's dead, you know, Evil Morty's down for the count. But he was like, oh, so you're my original grandson. So I guess this is where we both try to kill each other. And then it actually turns out to be Evil Morty. They just switch. He put an eye patch on Morty Prime, I guess we're calling him. Trick him, and then shoots him with this kind of laser electrolyzer type thing. I don't know what it is, but it goes into his brain and basically stops all of his regenerative abilities. It stops his cloaking device. It stops everything. Basically, every upgrade he gave to himself, it bypasses all of them. He's then able to upload all the schematics, get rid of all of them. He makes sure that C-137 is still alive and puts him back to life. And he was like, okay, he's 14. What's going to happen the next time he gets mad at Grandpa? You know, something like that. And then C-137 proceeds to beat the living crap out of Rick Prime. Just blood everywhere. Like, it was gory. Don't get me wrong. It was definitely gory. Then, you know, we have Evil Morty basically, you know, dismantling the entire thing. He was like, wow, I could do a lot with this. And then Morty is like, oh, you're going to do this. You know, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to delete all the Ricks. And he was like, no, I don't want a bunch of vengeful Summers coming after him. Apparently that is the thing. We haven't really seen it too much yet, but it doesn't surprise me. You know, you kill all the grandpas, there's going to be consequences for your actions, ultimately, at some point in time. So, Evil Morty is just like, okay, it's over. He's dead, you know, whatever. Did it make you feel any better? How does it feel better? Exactly the same. F you, I'm going to. I can end the Rick experiment anytime I want. Basically, he's saying he can end this whenever the heck he wants. He's like, maybe I can use you again someday. You're a little bit different. So, you know, we still have Evil Morty. That timeline isn't going anywhere yet. So, I mean, I feel like Evil Morty doesn't care he's as long as he gets to do his own thing and no one interrupts him, it doesn't really matter. But I mean, you can see Rick here covered in blood, and it just pans out to music. He kind of has the same dumbfounded look on his face, and then the episode ends. Because for the past like 70-ish years, or at least 60 years, I would say, because he's like 80 in the show, he's been hunting down this person, and he finally got his way, and now he doesn't know what to do with his life, because it's kind of like, okay, life's work complete, now what? And then we actually see an interesting story about Slow Mobius's family. So the wife actually gets super drunk, never slow, tattooed on the hands there. She goes down the rabbit hole, killing it, trying to kill everybody as well. Basically, essentially the same thing that happened to Rick. We actually saw it when we got Rick's backstory a couple seasons. I think was that last season or season before. But instead of going down the rabbit hole and doing all of this crazy stuff, spending your entire life seeking revenge and hating somebody, she finds somebody else to love. Another alien that lost his wife. And then they get together, and then happily ever after. So it's kind of like, it kind of makes you wonder, like, would Rick actually be happier if he just forgot about Rick Prime and moved on to maybe form a relationship with Unity or something, and they just stayed together and were happy forever. Who the heck knows? Maybe we'll see that in a future episode too, where there's a different version of Rick that actually has a lasting relationship with Unity. And they're good for the foreseeable future. But I feel like we've just kind of wrapped everything up. I mean, yes, technically Evil Morty can still be a thing, but they can bring him back or leave it alone and never have him come back again, because Evil Morty was never really the goal. The goal was always Rick Prime, and that's over with. Rick Prime is dead and not coming back, and that is all she wrote. We found him, we killed him, we wrapped it up with a nice little bow and one little episode. And that's it. So I feel like the rest of the season is probably just going to be random miscellaneous adventures, I would say. Rating-wise, 8 out of 10. I liked this episode a lot, but at the same time, I feel like it got over with too quick. It's basically like, okay, we've been building up to this epic battle forever. We kind of had one battle with some decoys, but we later find out that the actual decoy was actually the real Rick Prime in that previous episode. I think this was last season or maybe season 5. I'm forgetting which season this was part of. But ultimately, it was wrapped up in one episode. I figure this would have been like a to be continued or a two-parter, something along those lines. I know they haven't really done that, but I feel like it could have at least been this could have at least been the span of 2 episodes, but it's not. So we have 5 episodes left for the season. Maybe Rick will be in Dr. Wong's office next episode, trying to get in touch with his feelings, trying to figure out who he is after he finally defeated his enemy. Or maybe we're just going to go on a random Rick and Morty adventure. Who the heck knows? But Evil Morty, I'm sure, if they'll bring him back at some point, I don't know if we're ever actually going to kill him. Because he's not really causing an issue right now with the family, so I don't see a point to kill him. He can definitely be a reoccurring character, but who the heck knows? Sorry if I made this one a little bit extra long, but there was a lot to go through in this. Kind of crazy. And now it's like, now what? I feel like even as the viewer, you're kind of in the same mindset. It's like, okay, Rick Prime is dead, the main enemy's dead, now what? Now, what do we do? Where does it go from here? Other than that, thank you for watching. Like, share, comment, all that fun stuff. Subscribe, as always. Have a good one.